A group of Riverina rice growers is calling for a type of shotgun to be withdrawn from sale because of a series of misfires. There are believed to be at least 300 ATA 5-shot semi-automatic shotguns in Australia. And spearheading the push to have the guns banned is a former rice farmer critically injured when his shotgun exploded while he was shooting birds away from crops. Fiona Breen reports.
On the weekend, this part of the Murray River at Kundruk in northern Victoria is a popular fishing spot. But today, Lloyd Polkinghorne is a solitary figure, and that's just how he likes it. The former rice farmer struggles with crowds. In fact, he struggles to get out of the house after a shooting accident 3 years ago.
Most days I end up back in bed. I usually get up, take the dogs for a walk. I'm still trying to do things and have goals and targets. And then I have to rest up before I get the kids of an afternoon. You sort of save yourself trying to spend time with them.
His family farm is about an hour north of here, near the sleepy town of Moolameen in southern New South Wales. In January 2013, his life turned upside down when his semi-automatic shotgun exploded as he was shooting birds away from rice crops.
How we normally control bald coots is you walk in a line through the crop to try and flush them out, and then you have people on the external boundaries to try and control them as well. So we'd gone into the first bay and I was firing at my first bird. So this was about the 6th crop we'd walked that morning, and he fired at the bird and missed and trailed him and took another shot, and that's when the incident happened.
Lloyd Polkinghorne says the 3-month-old ATA 5-shot semi-automatic exploded sideways instead of down the barrel, giving him a huge knock to the head.
I just felt like I'd been kicked in the head. Took me totally by surprise, and I dropped my gun in the rice paddy, in the water, and I felt really dazed. Didn't know what had happened at the time, and I just basically flaked it. And then we'd seen that the shell had actually departed out the side of the breech, and that was enough shooting for me for the day. I actually left them to it and went home to bed because I wasn't feeling very well.
So Lloyd, this is the paddock that the accident happened in.
It was here in Moolameen at the fields owned by Rice Growers Association of Australia President Jerry Morton that the accident happened. There are about 20 farmers walking in a line shooting birds that day.
Well, we sort of worked out that something was wrong and that Lloyd was probably was a bit sort of concussed, I guess. So we pulled out of the crop and sort of assessed what was going on and worked out his gun was, pretty badly damaged, and yes, made sure he was okay, and he had bits of, shells stuck in his forehead, and it was pretty ordinary. So just made sure Lloyd was okay, and then he seemed to be okay, so we just kept going.
Incredibly, Lloyd Polkinghorne drove home and put himself to bed. But over the following weeks, the true extent of his head injury became apparent. He'd suffered a serious brain injury and a cerebral spinal fluid leak.
I'd try and drive a tractor or something and I'd just end up with a migraine and just being in a ball of sweat and having to go and lie down in a dark room. I've had everything from headaches and migraines to post-traumatic stress. So I've seen my children die thousands of times in dreams and all sorts of horrible things. And I've lost short-term memory I'm having a lot of trouble with, and also decision-making. I don't seem to be able to logically assess things and make accurate, good decisions. I probably kept trying for 18 months, 2 years, And it got to the stage where I was deteriorating as far as my memory and decision making, and it got to a point where we just had to say, well, if I'm going to try and get better, I have to actually take some advice and move. So let's go.
Lloyd Polkinghorne escaped with his life that day, but the accident and his subsequent injuries cost him his livelihood. His days on the family rice farm are over.
We farmed 7,500 acres, with mixed irrigation, and also did contract harvesting. I had a position of president of the Walkle Rice Growers. I was a director of the Moolameen Grain Co-op, and also active in other lobby groups and CMA steering committees.
And that's just not possible now?
No, sadly I had to resign from all of my positions. We got to the stage where it was just hard enough to get out of bed and get ready and fed. That east boundary.
He's developed anxiety, depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. There are many days when even working in the garden with his wife Lauren is too much. It's heartbreaking for the family.
He's a different man. Initially we were going through the processes hoping that he would get better. But now he's certainly a broken man. People don't see what I see or what the kids see. It's hard.
The Polkinghornes are suing the importer, Niowa Trading, and the local gun distributor. Both declined to speak publicly while the legal action is pending.
I worry about, some days I go off to work and I don't know whether I'll come back to find him, basically. So...
You're worried about his depression?
Yeah, that certainly plays a part of it. Yeah. Some days are harder than others.
There are at least 270 ATA 5-shot semi-automatics in New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania and Western Australia. Figures aren't available for Victoria, but anecdotal evidence suggests a number of Victorian farmers took advantage of the same gun shop deal that saw Lloyd Polkinghorne and his friends in the Riverina buy the cheaper Turkish-made semi-automatic shotgun.
They represent a good value. I mean, they were made in Turkey, and I suppose their cost of production is a little bit less than somewhere like Belgium that makes, Brownings, which are really, really top-level guns. So they were certainly a cheaper option.
So how much would you pay for something like that?
Oh, look, for a really good top-quality gun, you can pay $5,000, and these, I think, from memory, were in the order of $1,500.
Records show there are no ATA 5-shot semi-automatics in South Australia. Rice farmers use their semi-automatic shotguns more than most farmers. Ducks love to feast on the young rice seedlings early in the season, and coots love to feast close to harvest. Charles McDonald was shooting ducks feeding on his rice crops at Burrum when his gun exploded.
Yeah, I was shooting out the window at ducks on the rice. On the third shot, huge explosion. Sort of startled me for a bit, and on closer inspection, could see the bolt was jammed about there. The gun had fired. Half the blast had come out here and half the shell, and this had all come apart. That piece there, the bolt, was probably 20 metres back behind the ute.
So you were injured?
Oh, I had a headache for a day or two, but nothing totally out of the ordinary, I suppose.
Charles McDonald considers himself lucky. He escaped the accident without any serious injuries, but he's not used the gun since. It was a similar experience for fellow rice farmer Peter Chalmers.
I was driving around a rice paddock, which we do a circle around the paddock and scare the ducks off. And I was firing out the window. We were stationary at the time, and the bolt did not shut. So when it went off, the bullet ejected out, but it was only the back of the bullet. It went off with quite a bang and a lot of smoke.
He believes it's only because he was using the gun away from his face that he wasn't injured. The ATA 5-shot semi-automatic shotgun is still being sold in Australia. Jeremy Morton and this group of farmers from the Riverina want it taken off the market.
This is a very, very dangerous gun in my opinion. It fires without the breech being fully closed, and in terms of what happened to Lloyd's gun, I mean, it's made a mess of his life. So I think it should be taken off the market and they should be recalled.
Lloyd Polkinghorne took his concerns to the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. The ACCC did what can best be described as a paper review, reviewing assessments by the gun importer Niowa Trading and by the gun manufacturer. Without ever physically examining the weapon, the ACCC concluded that Lloyd Polkinghorne's gun was poorly maintained and not defective. Lloyd Polkinghorne first heard of this determination through Landline. He says the gun was well maintained. The Polkinghornes say 2 independent assessments have found fault with the gun.
That is of great concern to me. As a farmer, you rely on firearms as a control method, and these guns give no warning when they do fail, potentially having effects like mine or even worse, and it also poses a risk to people around you when you're using them. Tease the roots out.
In the meantime, Lloyd Polkinghorne is in limbo. It's still a long road to recovery, and he and his family are approaching life one day at a time.
We'll make things work, and we always do. But it's hard to realise that, the dreams that we did have, that we're changing them, but, and we're working towards a new future, but it's just not the way it was going to be.
I'm not going to give up on trying to get better. I still have ambitions and goals. I like setting goals and trying to do things, so just going to chip away, but more importantly, I want to make sure that no one else suffers this fate.
And anyone needing help can contact Beyond Blue or Lifeline on 131 114.